Thank you so much for taking the time to have a follow-up workshop. I have Patrick Donlin here from Foster and Foster. He's going to review where we were from last time and what the new information has from the current evaluation. Patrick?
Yeah, do you guys all have that handout that was on the table there? And I don't know, how many of you guys were here last time? Almost everybody. Well, basically, as you know, you're in Palatka right now. Every year we look at the accumulated state monies that have come in and we say, okay, with interest, and we say, how much can that buy for a multiplier? So you guys get a 2.5 multiplier, same as the general employees, and then you get an extra multiplier paid for with those state monies. And we evaluate it every year. And so it fluctuates over time. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. And so on that page 2 of both of those sheets, it shows a little history in the middle of the page of what the multiplier was in addition to the 2.5. And so for the firefighters, it went from 0.85 to 0.65 on 10/1/2023. But then on 2025, I don't have it on that sheet, but it's going to go to 0.72%. So it'll go back up 10/1/2025. Not as high as it was 10/1/2022, but it'll be 0.72%. So if you had 2.5, that's 3.22% multiplier. And for the police on that same page, it's going to go to 0.63% 10/1/2025. So it's going from 0.55 to 0.63% for police. And so I think the purpose of this meeting, you guys can't really negotiate share plans or anything like that, but I think the board members wanted to get a feel from the retirees, if you want this multiplier to keep fluctuating the way it has been for the past 30 years, or if you'd rather we fix it so that the retiree benefits stay the same. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the main purpose of this workshop. So I want to open it up for you guys to give input or ask questions or whatever you guys want to do.
Please come to the mic.
Button to press, make sure you're on. Thank you.
Under Trump, is whatever y'all go by, is it expected to go up because of all the positive things that are occurring at this particular time?
Well, if I knew the answer to that, I wouldn't be sitting up here. I would be on a beach somewhere. But I mean, the market was positive. So this valuation that determined this new multiplier was as of October 1, 2024. We do a valuation once a year, always October 1st. So since October 1st, the market had a good run, so far for the beginning of the fiscal year, but the last 3 days have been down. So it's probably going to be a little volatile, with the changes that are happening, the tariffs and all of his ideas. So it could be that we have a good year this year. We were off to a good start anyway, but I really do not know.
Okay, if it's frozen, and you said at the end of then we might get an extra, check. If it
Well,
goes
no,
up- if it goes up,
your monthly check
we'll s-
will go up or down, and it'll go up on 10/1/2025.
Well, I meant, okay, we freeze it, let's say we freeze it or it gets frozen. And I thought we said they might get an extra check if it goes up, even if like if it was frozen at.
Oh,
three,
I
it
see,
goes
what-
like,
I see your question. So, right now there is no share plan or 13th check or anything. We just do this evaluation each year and and your multiplier goes up or down and it changes your monthly check. But if we want to fix the multiplier and fix it in stone, then there may be options of, well, what if state monies go up in the future? What do we want to use that for? If we're not going to use it to change your monthly retirement benefit, they could set up some sort of a share plan or a 13th check that could be negotiated.
one more question. Does
Sure.
that mean if we we're supposed to get the money or an extra check? Does that mean, can the city take it away and use it for some other thing?
Well, if whatever gets negotiated and changed in the city ordinance will be in effect. So it might say that, the city can use all the state monies each year up to 100,000. And anything above that goes into a 13th check. So whatever is written in the ordinance, that will be the new procedure. So,
Right.
well, the city has to adopt the ordinance. The pension attorney usually drafts it. But the city is the ultimate authority. They have to adopt the ordinance. Sure.
I just want to make sure that they understand, that everyone understands that we get a financial report from Burgess Chambers, you give us a report. We get all this information during these pension board meetings. These guys are awesome about being able to answer your financial questions that we can't answer. These guys give a full report. We understand exactly what the plan is doing, the entire, what it's done for that quarter, what it's done for the year, what it's done for the 10 years. He gives us all that information. So I would invite you to please come to these meetings and listen to these guys teach us, train us, and talk about what the plan's actually doing. The other thing, my question would be, the negotiation has to happen through the collective bargaining agreement by the unions. They would have the ability to help negotiate that, right? And those.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding in Florida is that it's subject to collective bargaining, but if both sides waive their rights, then the city could do it without bargaining.
Sure. But they would have a say-so, the unions would have a say-so at the table, and then we would use the attorneys to help write. Whatever those guys negotiate is basically where we're at.
Correct.
Thank you. Pension board meetings?
Is there a list? Is there a notification that goes out?
Yeah, we can get it.
Yeah, it's once a quarter and it's always around the same time. So the next one will be about 3 months from today.
May 27th is the next one. That down, what I'll do is I'll add retirees to the listing.
There's an opportunity for public comment there as well, if you have questions.
At the end of the meeting, and the meetings are at 10 o'clock for fire and 1:30 for police.
But to answer your other question, give a little more detail since we have time. The way the state monies work is that the citizens of Palatka, if it's for firefighters, then it's 1.85% of the property insurance premiums. So when you pay your homeowner's insurance premium, there's an extra tax on there of 1.85%. And that goes to the state and then the state gives it back to the pension plan to provide additional benefits for the firefighters. And like I said, the way that we're dealing with that right now in Palatka is that we look at that money that comes in from the state and we accumulate it with interest, with earnings. So when the plan does really well, that accumulation goes up, right? Plan does poorly, that accumulation goes down. So it's partly based on how much money comes in each year, but it's even more based on how well the fund does. So we look at all that accumulation and we say, okay, how much can that provide in a multiplier for the retirees and the active employees? And that's the calculation that we do right now. For most cities, your benefit when you retire is fixed. You know, you retire and it's a 3.29 multiplier. That's the benefit that you're going to get the rest of your life. And then, but the state monies are usually fixed at a certain amount, and anything that comes in above that amount, say 100,000 a year, then that can be used for additional benefits. So they could set that up to have like a 13th check for the retirees. So that's what I'm saying is nothing that's set in stone right now, but it's something that could be put in place.
Backing up just a moment to what you said just prior to that about how those monies are
Would
accumulated.
you mind
Is
just
that fire and police?
standing by the microphone? I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Is that fire and police?
So for police, it's 0.85%, and it's of your home or your auto insurance mostly. So the fire is based on they're putting out the fire at your house. The police is based on your auto insurance and casualty. They're protecting your cars and such. So it's a different source, but it works the same way. But I think, you know, his first question was, well, Trump is in place, or, you know, is it going to go up? So, you know, right now you guys have a little bit of a risk that's could be plus or minus. You know, if you look at this chart, you know, you're on page 2 of the handout, you know, your benefits have gone up and down over time. When things do well, they go up. When they do poorly, they go down. So, but in general, you know, they're really pretty much the same now as they were 10/1/2005. You know, they're a little bit different. They've gone up and down. So the question is, do you want to keep that ride? You know, do you want to keep it where if the plan does well, then your multiplier goes up. If the plan does poorly, your multiplier goes down. Do you want to keep that, or would you rather it be just fixed, set in stone, your monthly retirement doesn't change? And I think that's what we wanted to try to hear from you guys today. Now, there's no perfect answer, but we wanted to get your idea or your opinion. I mean, to me, the retirement benefit should be fixed. I mean, you're relying on that benefit to pay your bills each month. You know, you have other investments where you're investing and taking risk. But my thought personally is that the retirement benefit shouldn't go down. But that's just my opinion. So we wanted to hear you guys' opinion.
I want to understand this. If we get it fixed, is that done by the city commissioner voting on that?
Correct.
But
That'll be a city
our
ordinance.
opinions right now, they're not sitting here listening. They're reading.
Well, we have a firefighter union member, and I think, you know, people will hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah. The union here?
He has a union as well.
Okay, all right.
My suggestion, not that I don't want to keep stepping on you, but
No, you good.
my suggestion would be that you guys pay attention to the agendas.
Yeah.
And when you see that these ordinances are coming up
Mhm.
at the city commission meeting, you come here for public comment, you fill out a card and you raise your hand. And you say, hey, I worked for the PD for 20, 30 years. And I earned every nickel, and this is my opinion.
So we need to know when the next city commissioners meeting.
You need to follow the agendas.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but before that ever comes to the city commission meeting, it'll probably go through collective bargaining. And so, you could also contact your bargaining rep, right?
Right there.
I don't know.
Who's the bargaining rep?
Yeah.
I can't answer that for the PD.
Yeah, I don't know.
You would have to reach out. We can help you, man. I'll help you.
Okay, all right. Okay, appreciate it.
Thanks.
When do you think this will come to a vote for the city? How much longer will this, probably all this take place?
That's as difficult as your first question that you asked me.
Sorry.
For the fire union, we're typically every 3 years, we negotiate a contract every 3 years. So we're coming up into our contract season for the fire union. The PD, as far as I know, just ratified a contract. Ms. Jones, is that true? Did the PD ratify their contract this year? So are they on a 3-year term? I'm not sure. Typically, we run a 3-year term, so our contract negotiation is set for that term. I don't know what the PD did.
Shouldn't this be coordinated? I mean, if y'all do it, shouldn't we do it too?
That is,
No.
there's no obligation.
Okay.
You don't have to follow our lead. We don't have to follow yours because we're separate entities.
But in the past, they've done similar actions. But yes, it doesn't have to be the same.
Let's just say we were to leave it alone, leave it the way it is. When do we have an option to revisit that if we decide to change our minds?
Anytime. I mean, it's been this way. I've been here since 1997, and it's been this way the whole 27 years. But it can be changed through the city at any time. You have a union for police and fire right now. So it should, since they're changing benefits, it usually goes through the collective bargaining process. And that can happen at any time. But, right now, so does that answer your question?
Yes. Yep, just a personal opinion throwing that out here, considering the fact that it's going to take time if we were to change anything here today to the point where it's going to require a city ordinance or something to be amended. And that takes a process, that takes its time. For me, it might be better just to leave things the way they are. That's just an opinion.
Well, so I didn't really hear a lot of, I really need my benefit to be fixed. I mean, it sounds like there's optimism right now, so I guess if anybody asks, that's what we'll tell them the general consensus of this meeting was.
Is there any reason why this representative of the city police are here of the union? They just didn't want to show up to that, or forgot about it.
I do not know the answer to that question. You ask a lot of difficult questions.
Just testing you. Okay?
Hey, Patrick, or Ms. Jones, can I ask a question? If the collective bargaining agreement or the unions, they have the option to hold silent, right? The union has either union has the option to hold silent, whether they negotiate for this benefit change or not. they can hold quiet on this. So if this was brought to the city and the city was to say, the city commission was to say, yeah, let's change the ordinance.
Well, here, so my understanding of the way that works is that pension benefits are negotiable by state law unless both sides waive their right. So in this case, if you wanted to go through with something, if, let's say the police side, and to answer your question a minute ago, maybe it's because they just ratified a contract. So it could be that that's why they didn't come to this meeting. But to answer the other question is if you wanted to go through and change the pension benefits to fix the multiplier, it has to be done by city ordinance. And so if both the city and the union agree not to bargain and not to have it part of the bargaining process, then they can adopt it. So both sides, both the city and the union would have to say, we're fine to keep quiet on this and let it happen without bargaining it. That's my understanding, which could happen. Well, thank you guys for coming out and, we're going to keep trying to communicate with you guys so that you're not, out in the dust here. So keep in touch with us anytime you want.
I didn't mean to make it difficult for you.
No, those were all good questions. I was just joking.
Oh, yeah, yeah.